What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with another Aha demo, as well as a feisty little Luca. And we're going to go to some bonus tunes from the East of the Sun, West of the Moon album, 1990. Thank you, as always, to Sophia for giving me music and guiding me through this journey. And we're going to listen to a select assortment of them. The first one we're going to hear is an early version of East of the Sun, the title track, more or less, of the album. I enjoy the normal or album version. It has this down-to-earth rustic type of feel. Now, it's not entirely the most in that direction I've heard from them, meaning there's still some string synths and there's a swanky organ that comes in the second half, so it's a tune with an assortment of sonic stylings, but ultimately it does have a much slower and more like rustic or rural type of feel compared to a lot of the fast-paced and drum machine driven synth pop of their previous albums, especially the first couple. So yeah, it's a tune that I think is reflective of the evolving sound of Aha at this time, which of course I'm learning from you all even now a couple years later, having gone through all of their studio albums, and it's been incredibly enlightening to hear all the demos and early versions of tracks, the way in which sometimes a tune, the story of it begins while they're putting out another album, but it's not a tune that gets included, and they end up working on it more, developing it more, and then it appears on a later album. But yes, I'm curious to hear, of course, any sonic differences between this and the finalized version on the 1990 album. I do wonder, of course, if there are any different lyrics. My recollection, given the information I have, is not anything in that regard, though I'll try to keep an ear out. In any case, let's hear it. This is an early version of East of the Sun, included on the deluxe edition of the album from 1990.
Half a letter tells half the story. The way I see it, it's half the worry. Where I came from, I forgot too soon. East of the sun, west of the moon.
I think the tempo is slightly faster.
Money talk, and listening. I live without it, and I have to miss it. Where I'm going, I'll get there soon. East of the sun, west of the moon.
It feels like it has more percussive drive to it.
Another day leaves me aching. I try to wake up, something's breaking. Here inside me, deep and hollow, the sound that no other sound can follow. I know the pain before the wound. East of the sun, west of the moon.
bit more bluesy, this version. Acoustic and electric. Bass really standing out. Very cool. More different sonically than I expected. I don't think we had any of the string synths which really give a flowing feeling to the eventual album version, nor did we have that swanky organ part or run in the second half of the track, but we did have more of a bluesy guitar feel, more percussive drive. I don't know if it was actually faster, so I was going to say percussive drive and pace, but it felt like the enhanced drumming, at least compared to how I'm remembering the album track, gave it more energy, so it felt a bit less rustic and rural. Now we're still talking about a desert rose blooming, so the visual palette still speaks to a sparsely inhabited desert type of terrain, which still speaks to the rustic rural feel, but it felt less like that than the album track because, again, it felt more bluesy and less sparse in terms of the sonic arrangement because of that drive in the drums. Nevertheless, the main melodic elements and pieces of the tune melodically felt very similar. So, yeah, sonically different, but still very recognizably the tune it would become. I do enjoy those moments where you can hear just a bit of scratch from Morton's vocals. I do like some of the extensions, of course. And yeah, ultimately, it's curious to hear a track like this, which to me is like, oh, that's great. You know, that could definitely go on an album. But whether it was someone in the band, maybe multiple members of the band, maybe a producer, someone's like, I don't know, let's work on it some more. Let's see what we can do with this. And eventually it becomes something recognizably different. So yeah, I like the idea that eventually they're like, you know what, a really cool and catchy organ part might add something to the tune. Maybe it'll have a bit more sweep and grandeur if we put some string synths in there. So it's just funny to think about the evolution of a track and why changes might be made, even if the original version is very compelling. Thinking of Scoundrel Days, the demo that I heard for Scoundrel Days was just like, oh my god, that's amazing. The fact that they had that and decided, I don't know, let's work on it some more, come up with a couple different versions of it, and it eventually became the tune on the album, which is fantastic. But yeah, it's interesting to me when a very compelling demo is nevertheless kept on the shelf and worked on more. So In any case, I very much enjoyed this. I'm going to do a live reaction with this one as well. I'll keep that secret for now, but that will be the next video, so check that out. Let me know what you think of this, and I will see you then. As will Luca, who's been lying here looking mischievous the whole time.